With that, let's shift our focus now to the UK, where it is the final day of campaigning for the local council elections in the country. All parties are out to woo their voters in a tight three-corner contest between the Labour Party, the Conservatives and Reform UK. Now, Reform leader Nigel Farage has pitched his party as the real alternative to his Labour and Conservative rivals. In recent months, the party has seen a rise in popularity, especially on issues of immigration.
Vote reform, get Starmer out. If you want real change in national government and in the approach to local government, we are the change option, and we're on that ballot paper in 99.9% of wards across the United Kingdom. And you know what? We're the only true national party. We're campaigning in all parts of the UK, and I think you're going to be surprised how much enthusiasm there is for our message.
The Tories, on the other hand, are looking to make an impact under the party's new head, Kemi Badenoch, who took over after Conservatives lost the general election in 2024.
What we're seeing is the era of two-party politics moving into multi-party politics. There are no safe seats for any party. We all have to work hard for every vote. What will be a disaster is seeing more Labour, more Lib Dems, more Green, more Reform, because none of these people are serious. The only party that is serious and that has a plan, not just for local councils but for the country, is the Conservatives.
For the Labour Party, it is a litmus test, a challenge to its declining popularity. The Prime Minister himself campaigned to rally support ahead of the 7th May local elections, saying that the party's focus remains on the cost of living.
Ask most people what matters to them most, and they will say the cost of living. Yes. And that is what we absolutely have to focus on. And that's why I'm so proud that that was the centrepiece of our budget last year and the focus of all of our actions, because we must always have in our mind's eye the people most affected by our decisions when we're taking our decisions.
So that, of course, is the kind of battle that UK is looking at as far as its local elections is concerned. Nigel Farage, the man that you see on your screens, has been enjoying some, popularity in the past few months, and he's been gaining that popularity, as opposed to Keir Starmer, who has been embroiled in controversy after controversy. There's pressure, of course, of, the conflict that has been going on, the geopolitical situations that he faces, specifically from America. But domestically, there's been a lot of pressure as well, not just the cost of living. But remember, the Peter Mandelson controversy has really made it tough for Keir Starmer to sail through these local elections smoothly. How voters vote in this particular election is something that will be closely watched, because it really will reflect the kind of public sentiment that prevails at the moment within UK. There's been controversy after controversy that has been hitting the Labour Party amid, of course, the declining popularity and approval ratings of the UK Prime Minister. Let's quickly get in our word from what has been happening in UK. Our correspondent Stuart Smith is joining us live from London. Stuart, these are crucial elections, really reflecting the kind of public sentiment that prevails in UK. But for Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, it is coming amid the Peter Mandelson controversy that he and his government have been embroiled in. What is it looking like? What's the battle looking like?
Yeah, it's the final day of campaigning here in London, and as you outlined there, the battle is looking less like a local election campaign and more like a national one, as well as a referendum on the premiership of Keir Starmer. This is meant to be about bins and potholes, local issues that people care about in the small area that they vote within. So here in London, there are 32 boroughs, and each one of those will be re-electing or electing new candidates to their local councils. There are also national elections in Scotland and Wales, but bigger than all of that seems to be effectively this referendum on the Labour Party and Keir Starmer, which could ultimately lead to his resignation. Now, of course, he's the Prime Minister. He's saying he's not going anywhere. But even the murmurings of the fact that his own party may want him to leave is, of course, damaging to any Prime Minister. And there are perhaps three candidates who could try to tried to change the status quo. There's Wes Streeting, who's perhaps more to the right on the Labour Party. There's Angela Rayner, who's more to the left. And there's the Mayor of Manchester, Andy Burnham. All three of them have suggested, hinted at, of course, never openly said outright, that they may be open to taking over should the situation allow it, and very, very poor local election results could be what sparks some kind of attempt at a challenge. Regardless, the Labour government and the Prime Minister says he's not going anywhere, but this local election, depending on those results, which could mean up to 2,000 Labour councillors either not appointed or replaced by another party, that could be really damaging. I mean that Labour lawmakers no longer feel Keir Starmer has the party in control, no longer has the ability to continue to govern, and may decide that a new leader is their best shot. Of course, it's not guaranteed by any means that a new leader will help the party. We've seen this before with the Conservatives over 10 years. They kept changing leader, and ultimately it did not stop them having to either change another leader or ultimately losing a general election. So it's no panacea, but it may be the outcome if these election results are very poor for Labour, and it would be a very big boost for the Green Party, more on the left of British politics, and the Reform Party, more on the right of British politics, who are expected across the country to do pretty well in these local elections.
Right, so things not really getting any easier for Keir Starmer. I'll leave it there. Stuart, thanks very much for joining us at the moment and giving us a perspective of what we can expect in the next few days.